June 7th, 2024. And got the last of the nukes leaving tomorrow. Maybe this one, which is an interesting story within itself. Somehow over the last year I lost one of my lids. So I went this morning to the local dollar store, bought a piece of foam board, and made my own lid. Hey, arts and crafts does pay off. So that one's leaving, and then I'm short a cardboard nuke, so this one's also going to be gone, but this guy is local, so I should be able to get my box back. Back here, I think it's pretty obvious which one's leaving. It's not that one, it is this one. Nice fat queens in all of them too, so we should have some happy customers. Happy customers. So now I need to go around and clean up my mess. You see I got equipment thrown everywhere, and it's time to start thinking about building this yard back up, getting some more numbers over here. So splits are in the future from one of the other bee yards. So we got a bee yard over in the side yard over there, and I got a few hives elsewhere I can make splits from, so there's no shortage on resources, that's for sure. This split here, that's one I made early spring from Stan, and it never really did anything. As a matter of fact, last time I looked in there, they completely either absconded or swarmed, one of the two. So the Pro Nuke, that's just going to have to go too, because I'm short on boxes. I'm trying to get Galena Farms to carry the cardboard nuke boxes. I'd rather support an Ohio company than give my money to Man Lake. So hopefully they can make something like that happen and get some cardboard nukes in for next year, because it's always a big conundrum getting boxes. And I noticed that Man Lake now wants $150 for free shipping. So it's like, man, Galena Farms do it for like a third of that. So there we go. They'll be leaving tomorrow. So hopefully the customers will be happy. But I got something over here I want to share with you all. Like, check this out. I've been checking this brood in this box here for a couple weeks now, and it's taken forever to get to where it's ready for flight. I think it's a wren. Ain't 100% sure, but I know they're kind of a pain in the butt on where they put their nests. But I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heads. Look at that. I've been waiting to move this stack of boxes elsewhere because I've got a lot of active colonies here, and I'd like to make a couple more splits and add to this empty space. But you know, slow developing brood in that box. So check this out. When I was over here preparing the nukes for the customers to pick up tomorrow, I decided to check on this brood again, and look at what I found. I was a little surprised. The birds are gone. There's a book. Look at that. Beekeeping Blueprint by myself, Jason Chrisman. Holy snipes. This book will tell you everything you need to know to get your beekeeping journey started. And it's got some amazing illustrations and charts. Look at this. Different kinds of bees, different breeds. What kind of bee do you want? What's their temperament? How well do they overwinter? What's their swarming habits? Their brood rearing habits? Resistance to pests and disease? All listed right here on that one page. And to give you an idea, there is exactly 203 pages of goodness. And you can pick up your copy right now on Amazon. Link's below. Link is below. The birds are gone, and they left me a book. God bless them. Okay, so you guys remember the Vevor hive I reviewed a couple weeks ago. I want to talk a little bit about some updates I've made to it here this week. We'll start down here with the Carousel Beast Blocker Robbing Screen. I always refer to this as thinking about a steakhouse and how you can smell the steak from outside the restaurant. It's the same ordeal here. You're robbing bees, they're going to land down here and they're going to smell the entrance of the colony since it is all open back there, but they're not going to know to go up and over and down to get to it because it makes more sense just to keep going straight towards the scent. So that's how it works. You're able to regulate it here at the top. You can have one open, both of them open. So that's going to be, I think, rather handy on this colony. So let's open it up and see what other upgrades I've added to it. Now, if you see my last video, I mentioned I needed to put fasteners in the box. You can see I added some galvanized nails and I glued on my knob. So here on the top, I've added some Apame top hive feeders. So these will be rather handy to get the colony strong and ready for winter, since I'll be making a mid-season split. Let's see what else we got down here. So these have openings in the bottom for the bees to come up through and get to the food. Here's where the really cool part's going to come in. These are the bank's sidebars, and I'm going to be playing around with them. We're going to see how well they work. Now, I do want to note there is a couple different versions of these bars. This is the first version. A few upgrades have been made since the version here that you see here today. And one of those upgrades is this area right here. It was noted that with the top bar and the bottom bar fastened to the sidebars, when you went to put your foundation in, it was kind of tedious with this holder covering the whole side of the foundation, and it's that way on both sides. So it was kind of tedious to get it in the top groove and on each side. That's been upgraded. They're really solid frames though. I really do like them. From the side profile, you can see we've got this little area here. This keeps the bees from gluing the frames together and helps provide adequate bee space all the way up the whole sidebar. The idea here is, though, it's going to be less work for the beekeeper having these bigger frames. You're not going to have to check 10 frames in the top box, to remove the top box to check 10 frames in the bottom box. Now you can simply remove your feeders and make inspections and do the whole hive at once. Whammo bammo. Another advantage is you're not going to interrupt the brood core. And what I mean by that is, normally in these boxes we would have a deep down here and a medium frame up here. And I actually have those in the other side of the box over here. So normally you would have, this is a medium frame, and this foundation here is for a deep frame. Normally you would have this up here and a deep frame down here. And being that these would be brood boxes, you would have a brood pattern in the center of the frame and a brood pattern in the center of the frame. Well, because the way Langstroth boxes are set up, the queen is only limited to that amount of space to raise brood. Well, with these frames, the idea is that she'll have one great big brood pattern. See, eventually the bees will bridge this closed where they want it, and this will be comb going across here. They'll have access holes where they can go through to the other side, and that's what's going to make it interesting. Now I do want to note a couple other things about these frames. Version 2 of these, like I say, fixes the foundation install problem. It also offers holes in the side of the sidebars for foundationless frame setup. So if you're a person that doesn't use foundation, the version 2 of these has now acquired features for you. Another big plus to these frames is it could make it a lot easier for our bees in the wintertime. Instead of moving from frames down here, jumping a space to get the frames up here to eat, they'll be able to move slowly across the frame full of food stores and be able to avoid that gap. Now, I do want to show you one of these frames here. They're playing around with some bridges that will eventually be available to the public. These are prototypes, and this will help bridge that gap, and eventually this will all be comb. Now I'm going to pull up a picture here from Chris Banks, the designer of these, and show you an example he sent me. So it's pretty cool to see innovative minds in beekeeping. I really like this idea. I do think though, if you're a person with shoulder problems, elbow problems, wrist problems, back problems, this is probably going to be something you'll want to avoid because of the weight. It's going to get heavy. A deep frame alone can weigh 10 pounds when it's got honey on it. And you make it a deep and a medium, yeah, those are going to get heavy quick. That's the only drawback I see on those. Now, they come with holes in the bottom of the sidebar and the top, and you just take a self-tapping screw and it drills a hole right through the wood without splitting and goes right up into that hole. And they are nice and secure, folks. Nice and secure. So that's that, folks, and I'm going to get bees installed in this week. And then in a couple weeks, we'll check back in and see what they're doing with those frames. I think it's going to be rather interesting to see how well the bees adjust to that new setup. So the way I've got it set up, I didn't point this out when I had a frame pulled out here, but let me show you real quick. Another interesting fact about these, we've got a deep and a medium. The deep is on top. Here I've got the deep on the bottom and the medium on top. And what I'm thinking is that's going to allow me to see how quick they bridge this off without removing anything, because you can see from my view, I'm seeing right into that space. So it's pretty cool that you don't have to necessarily have your boxes in a particular order anymore. And I could almost just take these boxes and fasten them together and make them all one with these frames. But I don't want to do that until I get the colony going. So my game plan for getting this started is making a split from one of my colonies. And my colonies are deep frames. So down in the bottom of here, I've got 3 deep frames that I will pull out. Those are brand new frames. I'll pull those out and I'll find one of my stronger colonies, get 3 deep frames with all the resources I need to start a colony. I'll stick them in here, and then above each one of those, I'm going to need a medium to fill in this void. And then what I think I'm going to do is probably checkerboard these with these longer frames. So I'll have a medium and a deep down there, and then I'll have a Banks frame. I'll have a medium and a deep down there, and then I'll have a Banks frame, so forth and so on. And then I'll use these to keep them fed, help them grow, and help them get ready for winter. So yeah, I'm pretty excited, pretty darn excited. I'm so excited, I took one of our lawn chairs, I cut the arms off of it, I cut the back off of it, and I made it into a dang hive stand. What do you think, folks? What do you think? Yes, it'll cut the hell out of you. Don't bring your kids around it. They're bees. They're dangerous anyway. Look out, y'all, look out. So there you go, folks. There you go. Love to hear your opinion on the Banks frames. And you know, last time I mentioned them, and it's been a couple months ago, a lot of people were saying how pricey they were. I do want to point out when you're printing something at a low volume, it is expensive. So you're going to have to work with him until he gets higher demand, and then the prices will start to drop. If you're interested in learning more about the Banks frames, you can go over to Etsy, which I've linked down below. And if you'd like to see how the frames work out for me, make sure you hit subscribe and maybe even smash that thumbs up on your way out.